Welcome to the Bakersfield City Council meeting. This television broadcast is brought to you by your local cable companies, the County of Kern, and the City of Bakersfield. You can watch the rebroadcast of this meeting Saturday at 7 p.m., Sunday at 10 a.m., and the following Wednesday at 7 p.m. You can download the agenda for this meeting at www.bakersfieldcity.us. Presiding over this evening's meeting, the Honorable Mayor Harvey L. Hall.
Good evening and welcome everyone. It's my pleasure to call to order the City Council meeting of July the 20th, 2016, and ask the City Clerk to please call the roll.
Mayor Hall.
Here.
Vice Mayor Hanson.
Here.
Councilmember Rivera.
Here.
Councilmember Maxwell.
Here.
Councilmember Weir.
Here.
Councilmember Smith. Councilmember Sullivan.
Here.
Councilmember Parlier.
Here.
Thank you, Mayor.
At this time, I would like us all to stand for the invocation by Pastor Torrey Tyler, the Cross Christian Church. And please remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance by Kaylee Todal, 4th grade student at Laurel Glen Elementary School.
Let us bow our heads with a word of prayer. Heavenly Father, gracious God in heaven, we thank you once again for this opportunity to come before you and have a city council. Your protection has been great. Your love has been strong. And as this city provides for jobs and direction and guidance for all, we thank you, Heavenly Father, that at this point in time, as the motto says, in God we trust. We trust in you, dear God, to continue to protect us. We trust in you, continue to keep our city safe. We trust in you to touch each and every council man and woman's life, their family, their friends, and their well-being. Touch their health, dear God, in a supernatural way. In Jesus' name we pray for this invocation. Amen.
Salute, pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, and liberty and justice for all.
Before we proceed, I request that all cellular telephones and communication devices be silenced. Pursuant to City Council policy, council members are prohibited from sending or receiving electronic communications during the meeting, and we request the same from our audience. For safety reasons and as a courtesy to others, no signs are allowed in the council chambers. Also, please be courteous in the use of any still cameras and video equipment. Audience applause is allowed during the presentation portion of the meeting, but is not permissible at any other time during the meeting. Madam Clerk, next item, please.
Mayor, under presentations, for a presentation of a proclamation to Rob Purdy, Valley Fever America's Foundation volunteer, declaring August 2016 Valley Fever Awareness Month.
Is Mr. Purdy in the audience this evening? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, we'll go to the next presentation.
Item B is a presentation of a proclamation to Cheryl Grob, Girl Scout volunteer and chairperson of the Kindness Academy 2016, declaring August 6, 2016 Kindness Day.
I have joining me Cheryl Grob, who is the chairperson of the Kindness Academy. You know, Bakersfield is constantly being recognized as a very caring community. And this recognition tonight is to bring attention to the Girl Scouts and another one of their outstanding programs called the Kindness Academy, where these Girl Scouts are being taught of what it means to be good to people in their community. So tonight I'd like to offer the following proclamation. Whereas the Kindness Academy was created to promote community spirit through intentional acts of kindness. And whereas the Kindness Academy was created to encourage the altruistic spread of goodwill throughout our community, and whereas this day is designed to encourage people to do deeds for others without asking or expecting anything in return, but with the hope that recipients will pay the kindness forward. And whereas the efforts of the Girl Scouts of Central California South and in supporting consideration and thoughtfulness contributes to making our community and the world a better place, one good deed at a time. Now therefore, I, Harvey L. Hall, Mayor of the City of Bakersfield, do hereby proclaim August the 6th, 2016 as Kindness Academy Day in our city, and call upon all citizens to join in recognizing and commending the Girl Scouts of Central California South as they set about inspiring kindness among citizens in our community. And it's dated at Bakersfield, California, this 20th day of July, 2016, and signed Harvey L. Hall, Mayor, City of Bakersfield. Cheryl, let's get a picture here real quick, okay? Can make some comments, make some comments.
Oh, all right. Well, thank you so much for this, Mayor Hall. I'm a big fan of kindness, and I've been working with the Girl Scouts for about 30 to 35 years now. And I always try to get my girls to give back to the community in one way or another. And, you know, with recent events, I think kindness is more important now than it's ever been. And kindness is really simple. I mean, a smile can make somebody's day. Maybe they're feeling down and you smile at them and they feel better, and then they smile at somebody else and it ripples and it just goes on. And you may think it's a very small act, but it's actually a very big act. So thank you very much. Thank you.
Mayor, item C is a presentation of a proclamation to Diane Hoover, Recreation and Parks Director, declaring July 2016 Recreation and Parks Month.
And I know it seems pretty regularly that I'm constantly giving recognition to the Recreation and Parks Department, and when you consider that Bakersfield has 59 parks in our park and rec system that people in Bakersfield enjoy every day. And I think it's terrific that we've been able to reactivate the spray parks that we have, and when driving by those each time when they're open, you can see the value of those spray parks, and it's good that we've been able to open those up again. You know, and within the Parks and Recreation Department are a tremendous amount of outstanding employees, and certainly Diane Hoover and Mr. Budak have always done a good job on leading them, and we have a lot to feel thankful for the Parks and Recreation Department of the city. And now I'd like to offer the following proclamation. Whereas parks and recreation programs are an integral part of communities throughout this country, including Bakersfield, and whereas our parks and recreation are vitally important to establishing and maintaining the quality of life in our community by ensuring the health of citizens, offering recreational activities, contributing to the economic and environmental well-being of the community, increasing property values, and expanding the local tax base, growing tourism while attracting and retaining businesses and reducing crime. And whereas residents value recreation as it provides positive alternatives for children and youth, especially during non-school hours, promotes the arts, increases social connections, aids in therapy, and promotes lifelong learning. Now, therefore, I, Harvey L. Hall, Mayor of the City of Bakersfield, do hereby proclaim July 2016 as Recreation and Parks Month in our city, and urge all residents to enjoy and recognize the social, physical, mental, economic, environmental, and community benefits derived from our city's parks and streetscape programs and partnerships. Signed, Harvey L. Hall, Mayor, City of Bakersfield, and I have with me Diane Hoover, Recreation and Parks Director. Let's turn around and get a picture real quick.
Thank you, City Council and Mayor Hall, for supporting Parks and Recreation throughout the year and throughout the city. July is appropriate for Parks and Recreation Month because of all the pools being open, spray parks are open, and now, in 2016, we have Pokemon Go. Everybody's in the parks with Pokemon Go. So it's very exciting, but I wanted to acknowledge, because this is the last time I will receive this proclamation from Mayor Hall. And in honor of that, I wanted to give him appreciation from our department. So we have a thermal bag. We have a thermal bag, and we have a shirt. Nice shirt. He can be one of our staff members, honorary. And
To match his blue eyes.
and a drink bottle for the water when he's in the park.
Thank you, Diane.
Thank you. Thank you, Mayor, for all your support. You've been great. I have one memory, many memories of Mayor Hall supporting the parks and ribbon cuttings and dedications and various things like that. But I think the one that stands out the most is when he actually participated in Polar Bear Plunge. I will not forget that. Thank you.
Item D is a presentation of a proclamation to Kristen Dowd, PG&E Public Affairs Officer, declaring August 11, 2016 National Safe Digging Day in Bakersfield.
You know, I say this each time that I'm called upon to give recognition to PG&E, and I'll do it the same as I always do it. PG&E is a very positive community partner in the city of Bakersfield and does a lot of wonderful community service projects each year in our community. And so we should all feel proud that PG&E is such a prominent part in the well-being of our community. And this evening, I'd like to offer the following proclamation. Whereas the 811 Call Before You Dig program is a vital public education and awareness program that will keep Californians safe, and education is the key to promoting safe digging practices. And whereas excavators, homeowners, and professional contractors can save time and money while making California's communities a safer place to live and work by dialing 811 in advance of all digging projects. And whereas utility lines are often buried only a few inches underground, making them easy to strike and cause damage and harm during shallow excavation projects. And whereas more than 170,000 underground utility lines are struck each year in the United States, approximately 33% of all damages in the United States result from not calling 811 before digging. And whereas undesired consequences such as service interruptions, outages, damage to public and private infrastructure, and property damage to the environment, personal injury, and death are risked by failing to call 811 before digging or safely marking utility lines. And whereas as California's economy continues to recover from the recession and the state's economic recovery stimulants, new construction requires supporting infrastructure. And California's underground utility infrastructure is jeopardized by unintentional damage caused by those who fail to call before digging. And whereas the free notification service provided by Underground Service Alert of Northern California and Nevada has dramatically reduced the number of accidents causing property damage, personal injury, and interruption of vital services. And whereas California public agencies should enforce California Government Code 4216 regarding safe excavation practices, permitting, and civil penalties. Now therefore, I, Harvey L. Hall, Mayor of the City of Bakersfield, do hereby proclaim August 11, 2016 as National Safe Digging Day in our city and encourage excavators, homeowners, and professional contractors to practice safe digging practices. Dated at Bakersfield, California, this 20th day of July, and signed Harvey L. Hall, Mayor, City of Bakersfield. And I have with me Christian Dowd, who is the PG&E Public Affairs Director. Here you are, kiddo. Let's get a picture real quick. Come on. Over here.
Thank you, Mayor Hall and City Council members, for supporting this very important free safety program. It is really important to ensure that residents and contractors and others that work in the City of Bakersfield know about this free program. And I also want to say a special thanks to the city staff and first responders for working closely with PG&E to ensure that others are educated about this program and are utilizing the program. The city has worked with us to ensure that this type of information is available at the city permits counter, as well as doing continuous outreach. So we greatly appreciate it. Thank you.
Do we have Rob Purdy now from the Valley Fever Americas Foundation? You're not Rob. You're going to take his place? All right, okay. Well, as we all know, valley fever is a disease that affects many in our valley. Just last night, I was doing a presentation in the city of Shafter, and they had a recipient of valley fever there with Sandy, and they represented the real effect that valley fever continues to have on our community and within the Central Valley. And so anything that we can do as a community to make more awareness of valley fever and the opportunities for people to receive medical care, we need to do so. So this evening, I'd like to offer the following proclamation. Whereas valley fever is a disease caused by fungal spores that exist in the soil of southwestern United States, including Southern California and its Central Valley, and whereas many people infected by the spores are never aware of exposure to the disease, while others become ill in varying degrees, some suffering from life-changing results, and some suffer fatal consequences. And whereas research is ongoing to find a vaccine and cure for valley fever, it is vital that residents and visitors alike are aware of the existence and symptoms of the disease, so that if it is contracted early, treatment can result in better outcomes. And whereas drawing attention to the symptoms of valley fever among our citizens, as well as those in the healthcare community, will create a safer, healthier community for all residents and visitors in the regions where valley fever is a concern. Now therefore, I, Harvey L. Hall, Mayor, City of Bakersfield, do hereby proclaim August 2016 as Valley Fever Awareness Month in our city, and urge all citizens to be aware of the threat this disease poses to all who live in or visit our valley, and lend support to finding a vaccine and a cure for this potentially deadly disease. Dated at Bakersfield, California, this 20th day of July 2016, and signed Harvey L. Hall, Mayor, City of Bakersfield. We have a common face that is taking care, the place of the presenter, and we'll allow him to speak as soon as we take our picture. Go ahead.
Thank you, honorable council members and Mr. Mayor. I'm Roger McIntosh. I'm a founding member of the Valley Fever Americas Foundation. And for the last 20 years, we have raised over $15 million to try to develop a vaccine. And recently, through our efforts, we've stumbled across what we think may be a cure instead of a vaccine. And we've had success in small animal trials where this drug actually cures this small animal of the fungus, completely cures it. And we're excited about our new efforts. Not only are we looking at vaccine, but also the cure with the drug. So our development will take us through large animal trials and ultimately human trials. In the next 2 to 3 years, we'll be looking to raise a couple $1 million to get us to that effort. So we appreciate the proclamation. It continues to raise the awareness, and we thank you for that. Thank you.
Do we have Adam Zachary Hacker here this evening? We have a proclamation that's been offered by the Bakersfield City Council for his outstanding work with the Boy Scouts. Madam Clerk, next item, please.
Public statements.
At this time, we will receive public statements. All statements are given a 3-minute time limit, 15 minutes per topic. If you have written comments that are longer than your verbal statement, provide it to the city clerk, who will then provide the necessary copies to the city council. If you are here to speak on consent calendar hearing items 9A, B, C, or D, this is not the time for you to speak. Members of the audience are asked to avoid engaging in any behavior that disrupts the orderly conduct of the meeting. Please do not criticize or impugn the mayor, city council, or any member of the staff or audience. The city council is very interested and concerned with your issues. Due to the public notice requirements of the Brown Act, the city council cannot take action when an item is not on the agenda. The city council can, however, refer your matter to committee or request that staff contact you. Madam Clerk, please call the first public speaker.
Mayor, we have 2 speakers this evening. The first is Ernesto Macias regarding item 8AE on the agenda, tree trimming services.
Good evening. Please identify yourself and proceed.
Good evening, Mayor, City Council, City staff. My name is Ernesto Macias. I'm a manager with West Coast Arborists. I'm here to discuss the tree trimming contract that's going to be awarded to General Tree tonight. It came to our awareness that the quantities in the contract or the quantities in the bid were skewed in a bit to where the quantities are not the actual work that's going to be done for the city, and is not what's done in the past. We have come to learn that majority of the work that is done in the city of Bakersfield with your current contractor and your past contractors have been removals, not necessarily tree trimming itself. We just became aware of this, and if you look at the bid tabulations, you can see where the bid from State Green and also from General Tree are both lopsided to where the tree trimming portions are extremely low and the removal pricings are extremely high. You look at our contract and you look at the bid tabulation for our prices, you'll see that they're balanced, assuming that the quantities that were given in the bid spec is what the work that was going to be done for the city of Bakersfield. We're asking for the city council for 2 options, either to award the contract to both General Tree and to West Coast Arborists, where General Tree can perform the tree trimming services at the lower rate. West Coast Arborists can perform the tree removals at the much lower rate. And some of those lower rates are as much as $500 per tree. So if the city does do a lot of removals, that is actually a lot of funding that can be saved for the city. Also, the second option would be to reject all bids, rebid the entire contract with more appropriate quantities that were going to be done here for the actual work that's going to be performed for the city of Bakersfield. I'm here in the audience. I will stay if you have any questions, I'd be more than happy to come up and answer those questions if I can. Beautiful. Thank you.
Madam Clerk, please call the next public speaker.
Kristen Coker regarding pool staff safety at Jefferson Pool.
Good evening. Please identify yourself and proceed.
Good evening. My name is Kristen Croker, and I've not done this before, so this is new to me. I'm here today just to present an issue to you that is of concern to me. It's about the pool staff safety, in particular the lifeguards at Jefferson Pool. Some of the kids that attend that pool for swimming purposes are out of control. I would say probably teenager-ish type of kids. They're out of control and they have little consequences. It is not uncommon for the kids to push lifeguards or attempt to push the lifeguards in the pool. It is not uncommon for them to not follow the rules. When these things happen, what the lifeguards typically do is ask them to stop, ask them to leave the pool. On occasion, they have to close the whole pool down and have everybody leave because kids that aren't listening aren't going to get up and leave when they're asked. A few weeks ago, there was some events, I don't know, just out of control kids, and they decided they were going to close the pool for a couple days. My understanding is that didn't happen. Somebody, and I have no idea who, said, nope, we're not going to do that. The pool stays open. During the night hours, it is not uncommon for kids or people to jump the fence to get in. They go swimming, they break into the restrooms, they vandalize. I know my son is a lifeguard there, and I know he has come home literally saying he has had to clean human feces off of walls because they get in and do that. They mess with the equipment. Lifeguard chairs have been sticky. I don't know what's been poured on them. The issues are escalating. Last week, I understand when some of the kids were asked to leave, they attempted to get into the little cashier room. And from what I understand, they were attempting to taser the girl in there. And that's a safety issue to me. My son, I occasionally do worry when he goes to work. I know the weekend after the supposed taser incident, he was very worried about going to work. He was debating, do I go? Do I go call in sick, even though he's not sick? Do I not go? I worry about his car parked at the pool because there's no real security. And I know that these kids, they can watch the guards leave and they know where they park. I don't have any real suggestions of what you guys can do to make anything better. I'm sorry for that one, but I just wanted to bring it to your attention.
Thank you very much, Ms. Croker. Councilmember Maxwell, please.
Thank you, Mayor Hall. Thank you for bringing this to our attention. This does concern us. Jefferson Park happens to be in Ward 2.
Okay.
I'd like to direct staff to get together, if it needs to be the police department or city manager's office, the Parks and Rec people. I think we have to put our heads together and solve this problem. This is something that should not be happening. So thank you so much for coming here. You did great.
Councilmember Sullivan.
Thank you, Mayor. Oops. Yeah, thank you. Diane, should it be sent to committee, or is it going to be handled within our staff? What would you suggest? Thank you.
Mayor, council members, Councilmember Sullivan, we are very much aware of this, and we are also very, very concerned. I have worked directly with Lyle Martin in the police department, and they have assured me that in the afternoons, when we have the open swim, when these things are occurring, that the police presence will be there. We also have a security guard that is from a private security firm that is on site at all times when we are open to the public. And the police department have also agreed to work with some of the trouble kids that are in the area, and through community policing and direct contact with some of those kids, they will work with them. So we are very much aware. We're taking every step. Also, we're looking into cameras and different kind of fencing there, just all kinds of things that we're looking into.
Thank you, Diane. I appreciate the lady coming. I personally was not aware of this. So Diane, is it mainly just that park and the same, perhaps the same people that are causing the problem? Yes, did you say?
Yes. We have not had those problems in other pools this year.
I see. Okay, well, thank you.
Madam Clerk, next item, please.
Item 7, appointments. Appointments of 8 committee members and up to 8 alternate committee members to the Bakersfield Youth Commission to serve a 2-year term expiring 2018. 24 applications have been received.
The City Council recently established the Bakersfield Youth Commission and authorized regular and alternate positions to be to this board. Tonight, the City Council will make their first appointments to these positions. As mayor, I will first make my nominations, and I will then ask each council member for his or her nominations, and then ask the vice mayor for a motion to appoint all nominees. I'd like to nominate my regular appointee as Kobe Michael Budak, and my alternate will be Annika Paterno. I will give credit to Vice Mayor Hanson for suggesting my alternate, because he had taken the time previously to interview this young lady, and she very much impressed him, and he called me to ask my consideration. So I was happy to nominate as an alternate for the mayor, Annika Paterno. Councilmember Rivera, please, for your nominee.
Thank you, Mayor. I'm going to request that Ward 1's appointments be moved to a subsequent council meeting, and I'll work with staff on rescheduling that. I do want to thank staff for their due diligence on this, specifically Chris Gary, who's done a great job. I'm sure as excited as all of you are as I look through the applications. It just makes me smile to know that there are so many young people in this community who have some really great ideas and are very interested in doing something about it. Thank you.
Councilmember Maxwell.
Thank you, Mayor Hall. I am going to nominate as my regular member Kiara Frank, and as my alternate, I have Marissa Edmonston. Thank you.
Councilmember Weir.
Thank you, Mayor. I am pleased to recommend Elise Honecker as the regular member and Kyra Holder as the alternate.
Vice Mayor Hanson, please.
Thank you, Mayor. I'll do both of these if it's okay with you. For Bob Smith's nominees are Lauren Carter as member, primary member, and Flint Sheffield as the alternate. And my nominees for Ward 5 are Katie Collins and Jessica Flores. And I see Katie over here. Katie, why don't you stand up and say hello to, just wave at everybody. And Annika, I saw you in the back. Stand up, Annika. We're so happy you're here. I understand Jessica did not make it tonight, but thank you, ladies. I do want to make a couple of comments. First of all, I want to thank Willie. This is really a fun deal. The only negative point was the ones that, unfortunately, couldn't take 6, and it was hard saying no to a couple of these young fellas. But every one of these kids were, well, I say kids, but young people, were just terrific. They're just terrific young folks, so I'm looking forward to it. And I want to thank Chris Gary over at the City Hall, and Chris just did a great job in sending in the interview. So again, congratulations, young ladies, and thank you very much. And the parents be very proud of you. Thanks.
Councilmember Sullivan.
Thank you, Mayor. I also very much enjoyed meeting my two students, both from Ridgeview High School. So the commissioner will be Alejandro Ruiz, a senior at Ridgeview High School. Some just very impressive young man. Really enjoyed my visit with him. And the alternate member will be Caitlin Ramora, so a junior from Ridgeview. So just very encouraging, very outstanding young people. So I enjoyed the interview, and they're so enthusiastic, so thrilled, and looking forward to being part of this commission. And I impressed upon both of them that they were the founding members of this brand-new commission, which of course will go on for many years. So it was very nice. Thank you.
Councilmember Parlier.
Thank you, Mayor. It was a real pleasure when I conducted my interviews of the students at Ridgeview High School, and it is my distinct pleasure to appoint as my commissioner Elizabeth Reyes, and as my alternate Arshpreet Sandhu. Again, two fantastic children. I think everybody just had a lot of luck in choosing their applicants, and it was a fantastic idea, Willie, and I want to thank you so much for that. Thank you, Mayor.
Vice Mayor Hanson for a motion to appoint.
Thank you, Mayor Hall. Motion to appoint the nominees.
Please cast your votes.
The motion is approved with Councilmember Smith absent.
Madam Clerk, next item, please.
Under consent calendar, items 8A through 8AH for approval. Excuse me, Mayor. A staff memorandum has been received for item 8N, correcting the statement of the proposed increase to $71,000, which brings the total contract amount to $260,000. And a staff memorandum has been received transmitting a bid protest and requesting to pull item 8AE from the agenda.
Does any council member wish to remove an item due to a conflict? Thank you. Does any council member wish to remove an item for separate consideration? Mr. Maxwell, item Z, 8Z?
8Z is in zebra.
Zebra, yes, thank you. Okay, see no others, my motion is to approve consent calendar items 8A through 8AH, with the exception of item Z, zebra, and as requested, item 8AE.
You have a motion. Please cast your votes.
The motion is approved with Councilmember Smith absent.
Councilmember Maxwell on item 8, Z as in zebra, please.
Thank you, Mayor Hall. This is a bid item, and we rejected all bids for a sewer lift station rehabilitation project on 24th and Oak Streets. I had a few questions about this. How critical is this that we move forward on it? I mean, is this something that we don't have to worry about for a little while? And if this were to something go wrong with it, what would we be experiencing in terms of what could go wrong?
Mayor, Councilmember Maxwell, we've been working on this project for several years. There are some maintenance issues with the pump. It's not at risk of immediate failure in any means. There's a couple items. There's some maintenance issues. There's some safety issues that we would like to correct at the lift station. So the project has been in development for probably 2-3 years as we've gone through studies to determine what's the best method to improve the station, and then also what safety measures need to be in place to complete the construction of the project. And then also we were working with some challenges for some site constraints. So the project isn't in a position for immediate failure. We are analyzing the project scope of work currently. We did reach out to several contractors to find out why they didn't bid the project. They did indicate that they were very busy at this moment. We also bid out another project, very similar type of lift station improvements, and received no bids. So what we are looking at is the potential of reviewing both of those projects, looking for potential areas of savings, and then maybe doing a combined package in order to capture more competitive bids, because with the two projects together, we'll entice more bidders to actually bid the projects and then become more competitive in that process. Typically, on this type of project, we receive several local contractors bidding them. Due to their current job, the workforce, they were too busy to bid it. So we're thinking if we combine the two projects together, it's going to make it a much more palatable project, and they will bid them.
Okay. What budget is this coming out of?
This is a sewer enterprise fund.
Okay, so we have plenty of money in that
That's
fund?
correct. That's correct.
What happens if we have a failure here? What's the repercussions for the community?
At this point, we typically would bypass the lift station. We would set up some temporary bypass pumps and then go into a emergency contract. So
How do we know it's failed? Maybe that's the question I'm really looking for. How do we know that it's failed? What's going to happen? And we say, gosh, we need to do what you've just described.
the lift station, the pumps would quit functioning. There might be a valve that is stuck. There's several components within the lift station that could actually fail, and there's several ways to bypass that component. What we're trying to achieve here is to retrofit the whole lift station.
Would you have sewer spillage into the?
No, there's alarms that go off before it gets set
I
up.
just wanted to make, for the community, I want to make
Yeah.
sure that if we don't do this, that we're not going to suddenly have a hazmat sort of a situation where we've got raw sewage in an area of population, because Oak and 24th, it's not so much that we've got houses close to this, but we certainly do have lots of cars going by it.
Yeah,
So,
there are several redundant systems built into the lift station that prevent that from happening. And then also there are several alarm triggers that will go off that will indicate to our staff that we need immediate attention out to that lift station.
I guess what I'm wondering is if this was $168,000 too high, which is about 23% more than what we were expecting, how much of a retooling of its design and how much of a combination is going to get us closer to that 557? And maybe you and I can discuss that a little bit more in the future. I mean, it doesn't sound like this is something that is hazardous to the community at this point. So maybe you and I can get together sometime in the future and discuss it. Okay?
Sure.
And with that, I've had all my questions answered to satisfaction, so I will make a motion that we approve 8Z.
You have a motion. Please cast your votes.
The motion is approved with Councilmember Smith absent.
Madam Clerk, next item, please.
Consent calendar public hearing items 9A through 9D for approval.
It is now time for the consent calendar hearings. The purpose of this section is to vote on all of the items listed under consent calendar hearings in one motion without further comment. If anyone wishes to speak on any of the hearing items listed, the item must be removed from this portion of the agenda. If an item is removed, it will be placed at the end of the regular public hearing portion of the meeting. At this time, I will open consent calendar hearing public hearing items 9A, B, C, and D, and ask if there is anyone in the audience who wishes to speak on any of these hearing items. Seeing none, I will now ask if there is any council member who wishes to remove an item from the consent calendar hearings. Seeing none, I will now say that the consent calendar public hearing items 9A, 9B, 9C, and 9D are now closed. Vice Mayor Hansen, please.
Thank you, Mayor Hall. Motion to approve consent calendar public hearing items 9A, B, C, D. David.
You have a motion. Please cast your votes.
The motion is approved with Councilmember Maxwell and Smith absent.
Madam Clerk, next item, please.
Council and Mayor statements.
Councilmember Parlier.
Thank you, Mayor. Chief Martin, I have a couple things. The first one, I was contacted by a local businessman. His type of business, he said he experiences, because his business is throughout the city, different break-ins from time to time. He has surveillance video that he has, sometimes not readily available, and he has to follow up. And his question was, and I'm not sure if we already have this or not, on the online reporting system, if there's some sort of a video drop box that they can go back after the fact with a case number and drop in, surveillance video. If there isn't, maybe this could be a time-saving measure instead of having somebody go out to meet somebody in the field. The second item, and I just want to thank you and your team. I was at the Valley Plaza Coffee with the Cop event at Starbucks. And not only was I thoroughly impressed with the police staff, it was an opportunity for the community to have informal conversations, meet with the officers, laugh, talk about families. I mean, it was just a real low-key, nice event. But one thing I was really impressed with our Bakersfield community. I mean, we're having a tough time in law enforcement right now, and that people are out there doing a hard job every day, and sometimes they don't get the respect that they deserve. And members of this Bakersfield community, would come up to them in the mall and concerned about their personal safety and their well-being, and I was thoroughly impressed with that. And again, Chief, I just wanted to relate that to you and tell your troops, good job. Thank you.
Councilmember Sullivan.
Thank you, Mayor. Oh, well, goodness. This is one of the record meetings is in shortness. Also, I would like to bring attention to me an important part of history. The 30th of this month, the country is celebrating the 60-year anniversary of our national motto. 60 years ago, 1956, Congress adopted In God We Trust for our national motto, which has turned out to be a very strong, very important tool reflecting the true history of our country. So also, a week from tomorrow, on the 28th, In God We Trust America is celebrating the annual anniversary at the Marriott, and I would like to bring this to everybody's attention and certainly encourage people to go online and get tickets. Rick Santorum is coming to town, so we're thrilled with our keynote speaker. And just to give you an idea, of course, Bakersfield is the founding city in the country for displaying In God We Trust in their chambers. And we're incorporated, and there are now close to 640 across cities and counties that have followed Bakersfield's lead. So we're very encouraged and dedicated to the mission of the elected officials voting yes to display our national motto in every city and county chamber in the country. So it's very thrilling and encouraging how positively this is being received across America. So anyway, good meeting, and thank you, staff, and thank you, Mayor. I was noticing with appreciation your gift for positive words and your willingness and eagerness to recognize good people doing good things in our community. So that's something we have appreciated and enjoyed for years. So thank you.
Councilmember Maxwell.
Thank you, Mayor Hall. I just had one item. Tonight we passed two ordinances, 8D and 8E. Both of those were annexations for the city of Bakersfield. I asked the city manager's office if these would be based on the new MOU we have with the County of Kern, and he let me know that yes, all of these would be. Our projections on what this new MOU is going to do for the city of Bakersfield, whether it would be a positive or negative, was based a lot on the percentage of commercial property versus residential property. And I do notice that here, part of the annexation is 10 acres located at the northwest corner of Heath Road and Stockdale Highway, which sounds like it's going to be a pretty good-sized commercial property, and it is zoned for commercial. It's general commercial. And then on the 30.1 acres that's located at the southwest corner of Taft Highway and Chevalier in Ward 7, it has some regional commercial and also highway commercial, which sounds to me like it's going to generate quite a bit of sales tax revenue that we're not going to get 100% of. Part of that will go to the county. And what I'd like, it seems to me that in the last 6 months, 9 months, we've had an awful lot of annexations, and it also seems that a lot of these annexations have commercial elements to them. I'm concerned about the figures we were given when we made this decision on the MOU and how these additions of commercial property through annexation are going to affect our budget in the future. So, Mr. Hewitt, I know that you were very much involved in putting together that information that we got, showing what our increase in revenues. If you wouldn't mind, I'd like you to take those and this information, maybe give us some idea of how much commercial property we have annexed at this point since the new MOU, and if you've got any information on, like on that 10.9 acres, what exactly they're planning on putting there, what sort of tax revenue that's going to generate, and how that's going to be divided, and approximately how many homes do we have to build to offset the loss in our revenue based on the commercials, the size of those commercial properties. So if you could do that, I think all of us we can then get a running understanding of whether our decision on that MOU was a good one or a bad one. I know that MOU is not going to be forever, but when we come to the table the next time, I think it's important we have the information as to whether this was a good or a bad decision, and these are the sort of things that we have to look at in order to make those decisions in the future. So, Mr. Hewitt, if you'd do that for me, I would appreciate it very much. That's all I have tonight. Thank you.
Vice Mayor Hansen.
Thank you, Mayor. I just wanted to make a comment on that Jefferson Pool situation. You know, it's really discouraging to me, and I'm sure to all of us, most of the people of Bakersfield, that, you know, we go to a lot of cost, a lot of expense and effort to make things better for our citizens, and then we have a few little rascals come along. And, you know, the laws today are, you know, in the old days, Chief Martin could probably tell me that, you know, if I got in trouble there, police officer would take me home, my dad would just beat the heck out of me. And we can't do that today, but boy, I hope, Lyle, that you can find the biggest, toughest, ugliest cop and take these kids and throw them in the backseat of a car with a couple canine officers with them and take them home. I mean, you know, and tell the parents we don't want them back. I just had to get that off my chest. I just get so aggravated at what we try to do to make things better, and then if we shut one of these things down, we got people yelling and screaming. And unfortunately, 98% of the kids that are there, they suffer for the 2% or 1%. So, Diane, thank you. We appreciate it. And Lyle, of course, police officers, goes without saying. Good night, everybody.
I have several items tonight that I want to report out on. We're always asked questions about what's the progress of our litter removal program, and I've asked the Solid Waste Department to give me a month-end report every month on the accomplishments of our Bakersfield Homeless Center crews and the crews that are working with the mission at Kern County. And the Bakersfield Homeless Center crews, there are 10 of them. 10 are working at the Greenways, or 2 are working at the Greenways facility, 2 at the animal care facility, and we have 4 groups working with the freeway litter pickup program, and then we have 2 groups that are working on the downtown ambassador program. keeping up with the litter removal in downtown Bakersfield. Every 3 weeks, the freeway crews complete a cycle of all of the freeways, including the West Side Parkway. I want to tell you about the results of the litter pickup for the month of June. We had 1,750 bags of trash that were picked up, totaling 35,840 pounds. We're still not developing enough community pride. That's a lot of bags of trash, and that's a lot of tonnage that we're having to pick up. I'll also note that a special project was completed this month at Hosking Road interchange with vegetation removal. And each council meeting, the first council meeting of every month, then I'll bring the same report forward so that everybody can be educated on the results of the litter pickup programs. My second item that I want to talk about, and this has been discussed quite frequently, is what's going on about the homelessness in our city. Kern County is moving towards ending veteran and chronic homelessness. I attended the Housing Committee of the Kern County Homeless Collaborative this week and have some great news to report. The community has transitioned 226 veterans out of homelessness into housing since January 2015. In addition, the community has transitioned 190 persons experiencing chronic homelessness since January 2015. Chronic homelessness means that the individual or family has lived in a place not meant for human habitation or in an emergency shelter for at least 12 months and has a permanent disability. There is other exciting news. The Housing Authority of the County of Kern has new funding to provide affordable housing to 80 to 100 chronically homeless households through a grant from the Department of Housing and Urban Development. And the value of this grant is $819,000. The program has just began on July 1st and already has 17 eligible households, identifying units to move into with the help of service agencies. We must give recognition and thanks to the city code enforcement officers and impact officers at the police department who have helped improve street outreach efforts by making regular referrals for those experiencing homelessness to our housing providers. I overlooked recognition for my primary nominee tonight to the Youth Advisory Council, and Michelle Budak is my primary nominee, and her parents both work for the city of Bakersfield. Her father works in the Parks and Recreation Division as an assistant director, and her mother works in the planning department. And it was nice for me to be able to move the Budak family forward in a positive way so that they can again be recognized for the outstanding work that the Budaks do for our community. If there are no further items to discuss, we stand adjourned.